Hi guys. The river was a little too loud, so I had to use these. And I haven't got myself some AirPods yet, so it's just going to have to do. But I just wanted to share a little bit with y'all. I know it's been a while since I've recorded anything, and I thought I owed everyone an explanation of what's been really going on with me. I have been going through a bit of a healing journey the last few years. I'm hoping that some of this can resonate with y'all if you're somebody like me who was kind of lived up in their mind, their thoughts, and ignored a lot what was happening in their bodies. I was totally disassociated from my own body. So when I felt pain, I didn't feel pain. I just kept going. I ignored everything until my body just couldn't take it anymore and just really became out of whack. My whole nervous system was shot. I think I had been living with an unregulated nervous system for most of my life in fight and flight mode and had no clue. So, of course, things trigger us throughout our lives. Um, we have to, in order for us to understand those triggers, we need to know that there is such things, why we act the way we do, or why we react the way we do, rather, in certain particular situations. So for me, I was definitely someone who was a people pleaser and want everyone to be happy around me. So I pushed myself really hard. And then there was some personal issues going on, and I mean, I've battled migraines maybe for the last 10 years or so, but they got to a point where it was just completely chronic. And I still continued to work and continued to do online schooling in the evenings and continued to raise my family, and until the stress was getting worse and I was not regulating myself at all and did not know how to say no and didn't have any clue to like pay attention to myself or take care of myself. And then there was some big trigger that happened within my family that was devastating and completely sent me into a spiral of extreme emotional pain, which triggered everything from literally my childhood, things that I haven't thought of in forever. And in the same sense, I was getting more and more chronic pain in my body, throughout my body, especially a shoulder. That too had been happening for a really long time. But once this emotional break happened, my shoulder froze over inward, almost in a way to cover my heart, I think, which was broken. And I mean, my arm was almost like, I mean, I wouldn't say a foot shorter, but if you know what I mean, I was like this when it came to how frozen over I was, and the pain was extreme. So yes, I was in pain in my head, I was in pain in my shoulder, my whole body was in pain, and emotionally, I was a complete wreck. So I had no choice but to step away and take some time to take care of myself. At that point, I began journaling, which I would recommend to anyone who is struggling. And my healing journey began. I had no choice but to sit in this pain. And I would say that there's been times in my life where I've kind of broke before, once in my early 20s, complete mental breakdown, and went and had some talk therapy and thought I was okay after that. And again, in my, I don't know, early 40s was my second, which again, I had a little bit of talk therapy and felt I should be okay. Like, I know these things. But this time, it was different. I would say it became a breakthrough in a lot of ways. Because I had to sit in the pain and I couldn't go anywhere or do anything. It even hurt just to walk. I couldn't sleep. So I wrote and I journaled and got out everything that was arising within me. And I mean, I went all the way back to the very beginning. And through that experience, my life became very explainable. My behaviors became very explainable. I started to understand myself. I started to understand why I do the things I do and why I live up in my head and to not center myself in my body. I always had to dissociate. So yes, there was abuse in my life from a very early age, from the beginning, I would say, that just created a cycle that continued at least till I was 26 years old. So yes, I knew that these things happened to me, but it wasn't until this huge trigger that happened now that all of the other stuff kind of came back and realized that this was parts of me that I've been carrying that have been hurt from early on. So I've been doing a lot of shadow work, which I think when I started journaling, it was automatic for me. It just was a part of getting in touch with all of those parts that I shoved so deep down that thought weren't hurt or not neglected. This loneliness that I've always carried with myself. And what I accept in my life. And I've always been able to stick up for others, like passionately, like that's never been an issue. It's myself that I have had the problem of sticking up for. So I'm learning that that's what I need to do now and not be afraid. And I think coming to Norway, of course, people can look around and you see how beautiful I have it. And I know all that. And I'm extremely grateful and extremely lucky. And I've been extremely lucky in my life with my career. So I think that was also another excuse why I would always not want to pity myself or not even think about, okay, what had happened or all the things that had happened didn't hurt me or didn't affect me. But of course, it does. Trauma, of course, lives in the body, not just in the mind. And I've learned that on a very deep level. I understand that my body has been trying to tell me for a really, really long time that I needed to stop. And I'm coming to the point where I'm grateful for my body and my mind that has really honestly protected me all my life. And the things that I used to think about myself were never true. As far as feeling broken or I always felt like my mind was, that there was something wrong. I thought I was crazy in a lot of ways where I couldn't control my thoughts. So I felt like my mind was broken because I would have flashbacks when I was yeah, in my teens, I used to travel. I was a model. I traveled around the world by myself. And I remember it started in my teens having flashbacks and not understanding what that was. I had no concept of what that was. I just thought something was off. I thought I was a little crazy. And now I understand that those were memories. And I also have a really hard time remembering things. My family has always said that, and my friends would always say that, and they would get really frustrated with me because I couldn't remember certain things. They would start talking about or what we used to do or different experiences we had together, and I couldn't remember for the life of me. And that's continued. Like my brain doesn't really hold a memory. Kind of. So then, of course, you're thinking, oh, it could be like early Alzheimer's or something. But it's been protecting me, obviously, and doing its job. So, I feel like I'm coming out of this experience. I feel like I'm on the other end of it because the most important journey we ever take is with ourselves, right? And really going within, we could learn so much about who we are and acceptance and love and giving ourselves grace and loving ourselves. And we can look in all the different places outside of ourselves, and we will continue to get disappointed in ways, or something is just missing, and what we're missing is the connection with ourselves. So I would like to say to any of you listening that if you're lonely or struggling or stuck in a trauma response, I would say that this is the beginning of a journey that you should take with yourself, and begin to write, begin to journal all your feelings, everything that's going on. And listen to your body. I started doing somatic work, which was really just meditating, quieting everything down, focusing on my breath, and really listening to where I was holding tension. When I would find those areas, I would talk to my body and ask what it was trying to tell me, and your body will answer you. It will tell you what it's holding. And we hold these memories within ourselves, in our fascia, in our whole being. And they never leave us. And the memories, we may forget of different things, but they're living there, and that energy doesn't go anywhere. So our job is to alchemize that energy and embrace those dark parts of us that we have hidden, and shine the light on them and give them the love that they deserve. And I hope that the journey that you may be on will be an awakening one. And if you have any questions or need any guidance, I will definitely share what I know and what I've learned. So maybe that's enough for now. I can share more in other videos, but please leave a comment if you have a question or you this resonates with you. And may you too embrace your shadows and learn to love yourself. Bye for now.